Good evening, race fans. It is Chris Curtis alongside Drew Akers inside Phoenix International Raceway. We are setting up for a Downshift Esports preseason race for our Street Stock series. And it is a, recruitment race, preseason race, all the above as we get things going here for qualifying in the to the 80 lap extravaganza inside the Valley of the Sun. Drew, there's a lot to do, a lot of things to talk about. We are preseason at Downshift Esports, just trying to get things settled. We've got almost 30 cars that have signed up for this at the moment, just trying to get their wheels warm and their tires warm and get themselves out of the track.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of work on the back end, but it's also a lot of work on the front end. You know, these guys in the background, our league managers, our admin team, everyone in the background have been working very hard over the off season to get this season up and running and get a lot of stuff prepared for this season. I think it's going to be an exciting season. Needless to say, it's going to be probably our best season so far. We've only had two. This is our first one under the Downshift Esports organization name, but the drivers have also had a little bit of preparation as well. They've had time to consider what they want to do in terms of this season and how much they want to push for it. So it's going to be an interesting day to see what these drivers can do in general, as we see not only our drivers from last season as well, returning drivers, but also some new faces.
Yeah, new faces because of the recruitment that is going on with this particular avenue. It is a hot track out there, 5 Pacific time on the West Coast, and that is right in the middle of the hot afternoon in the Valley of the Sun. A dry track means for good drafting, well, semi-easy passes as long as people aren't too aggressive at keeping their spots. But we'll see how that particular avenue goes. But a good start, I think, necessary for a lot of the drivers from last season, just to kind of get themselves warm, get themselves acclimated, and a little bit of an acclimation period as well for the new guys coming in.
Yeah, these new guys, I have no idea what to expect from them.
Right.
Probably half the field is going to be new guys that we have never seen before. Probably even more than that. I think we only have probably somewhere around maybe 10 to 15 returning drivers, and with only that many, and we already have close to, what was it, like 25, maybe even 30 drivers on the grid, even more, possibly. It's going to be quite an exciting race. We haven't had a field this big before with the conditions
Right.
on the track as well. 79 degrees in the air, but 115 degrees on track. That's going to affect the tires immensely. And as we all saw last season, there's going to be pit stop strategies. So it's really all about who can come out with the best strategy and who has the pace.
Oh, you have pit stop strategies. You have the conditions of the track that you mentioned. This 1 mile oval with the front straightaway, just about the speed zone for this particular track. You don't have to worry about the odd corner at the backside of the track. So this is going to be, you go 3 wide here and on that narrow pass along the front straightaway, and you run the risk of getting into some heavy traffic. It could be real interesting coming off of cautions, coming off of the start of the race when everybody's gelled up. It's going to be a lot of fun to see, and interesting to see whether or not these drivers can really control themselves and control their machines on any one of these speedways.
Yeah, and as you mentioned it too, those starts as well as restarts are going to be crucial for all of these drivers today. It is a 1 mile track, but another thing that's also changed is open qualifying, as we're seeing here. This is a qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. It is open qualifying as well, not just one track on the car. You have 10 minutes to figure out how you can get some pace, and the draft with these cars actually works really well. You don't want to go sideways like that number 96 car, though.
And number 96 nearly ended up getting himself vertical along the fourth turn there, not quite able to, or he was able to bring it back at least, so that's at least good news. But
just for the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Do you, in open qualifying particularly, because I haven't seen necessarily that concept. Oh no, got some rough play into the grass. That was 96, and I missed the number on the other one. Ended up getting taken down. That's going to knock them off their times a bit.
Yeah, and it's gonna not quite be as I guess, crucial to stay out on track for the entire time that the 10 minutes goes. So you get that 10 minutes to figure out, what kind of pace, what kind of line you can get, try and get some better draft, even possibly a little bit later. You see 2 cars that come out at the same time. They're kind of ghosted into each other, and now they're separated. But it's really just trying to find that consistent pace over the race. You can find a great line on this track, and we've seen it time and time again. We saw it especially last season at the very last race, week 10. But if you don't have that consistency, we've seen people get taken out with 8 laps to go. So it's all about saving that car, saving the tires, being able to stay in the race up until those last few laps.
Noticing in this case the red 93 of Andrew Payne. He's got right now the best qualifying time at the moment, although there's plenty of qualifying time left. But what I'm noticing, a lot of these cars, they are getting themselves loose coming out of corners.
Oh,
you can
my
see it there.
goodness.
And as we talk about it, 93, Andrew Payne gets put towards the center of the track vertical. That's not the way you want to stay, but it's just a testament. These cars are a bit loose coming out of those corners, and it could lead to some problems. They're going to need some tuning a little bit.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I'd have to say is that we had probably the biggest problem when it came to the turn forward in last season. Turn forward proved to be quite difficult for quite a few people, and we're seeing that it's still proven as something that's crucial and difficult for people to master even in this recruitment race. We'll have to see how people can adjust, because even though you might think you might have it, sometimes those back tires can get loose on you and send you spinning.
About 14 minutes to race time here. Chris Curtis, Drew Akers with you. Downshift Esports preseason race at Phoenix International Raceway. The recruitment race, it's open to all iRacing competitors, and hopefully if you are in here and wanting to join us, you are free to do so after the race is done. The top two times right now on the qualifying track, Andrew Payne, 93, Sean Ryan, number 9, as of right now on the top two qualifying laps. 32:08 is Andrew Payne, and 32:13, so only 5/100 of a second separating 1 and 2.
And that's a pretty impressive time coming from Sean Ryan, to say the least. He's got an I rating of 2,000, and that I rating signifies, for those that don't know in the crowd, that I rating signifies how good you are on track in official races. For you to be 2,000 in I rating is pretty high achievement, to say the least. It's above average. Average is somewhere around 1,350 to 1,400, and Andrew Payne has 3,800 I rating. That is a very big jump from Sean Ryan to Andrew Payne, and now Brian Holman is the only one holding in between them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 1/100th of a second separates the top two qualifying spots at the moment, Payne and then Holman in the 60 car, as he jumps just above Sean Ryan. But plenty of qualifying left to go. Got a but I think you said it's a 10-minute open qualifying session.
Yep.
So we'll see how that in particular goes. But good start to qualifying really everywhere as these guys get it started. It's going to be, as the way qualifying is, looks like we are going to be pretty high speeds all the way throughout. Love to see inside the cockpit what the speeds these cars are getting. But I anticipate probably some rubbing on the outside wall there, front straightaway.
I think he's doing more than rubbing there.
Yeah, a little bit. And a spin on turn 1 is going to send one of them out into the grass, as you see 96 get back out.
There he is. Yeah, the 71.
Yeah, the reset's a good one.
Yeah, the biggest thing I have to give credit to is the structure of this qualifying, and I have to give it to our league manager, Ben Ruprock, who put this league together. He had the idea for the open qualifying, and not only does it give us entertainment, but it also gives the drivers a strategy, right? It gives them a strategy of, hey, I need a drafting partner. So you have to find that drafting partner to help you. And if the drafting partner is only able to help if you're able to keep up with him. So you have to find someone within your range of speed and skill in order to have that effective draft to try and get higher on the leaderboard. So it gives drivers a unique challenge along with the entertainment it provides here. And oh my goodness, the 16 goes spinning right there.
Yeah, right into the grass. Believe it or not, Phoenix International Raceway does mow their lawn. Like, your cars wouldn't necessarily know anything about that, but they're trying to do it over again.
I wonder if they're gonna. I wonder if they're gonna change the Google Maps description for that one.
Side note: 41 cars now registered for this race, for the recruitment race for preseason in Downshift Esports. 33 of them have posted a qualifying time to this point. So we still should see those other 8 cars that are holdouts a bit get into it and perhaps get onto the qualifying grid. So as of right now, top 2 still Payne and Holman, sitting at 32:08 and 32:09. We just had Tanner Tellerico jump into the number 3 spot.
That's a name.
32:12. Jumping ahead of Sean Ryan. So inside row 2, Tanner Tellerico, Sean Ryan outside row 2.
Yeah, that's a name right there. Hopefully I don't mess that up later on. But 41 cars, that is a massive field, needless to say,
Yeah.
Curtis. And I mean, it's going to be exciting, honestly.
Yeah,
I
it's good.
can't wait for this race to happen.
I can tell you're geeked.
I really am. I really am. I mean, we don't even have if we don't have probably but half these drivers signed up for the league. So any of you guys who are out there and considering joining the Street Stock League, go ahead and head on to the Downshift Esports links anywhere in the profiles that you're seeing right now. We are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So anywhere you are reaching us, go ahead and try it. But man, these guys have a race ahead of them, I will say.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun seeing where everybody shakes out here. Still 41 registered. We'll see if we can get a full grid at 43 here potentially if everything shakes out. But a good start, and the speeds are really good. Can we go cockpit on Andrew Payne? No, he's out. Let's do Brian Holman if we can.
Yeah, we can.
60 car.
Yeah, we'll try and see if the broadcaster can get his stuff going. But it's yeah, look at the speed as well. These cars reaching over 120 miles per hour on these straights, and the cornering going at 100 miles an hour. You can already see the back tires just slipping off, and there's a crash up in front.
Yep.
You want to avoid those at all costs, but the speed is really what's going to help them. And we've been seeing on our timing tables as well. On the straights without drafts, you reach somewhere around 202, 203 miles per hour, but with the draft, you're going to get upwards of 211 miles per hour. So that draft really does help.
It really does, especially on a hot track like Phoenix. You have nothing but hot asphalt in front of you, and you get anywhere, you could be 2 to 3 car lengths behind your drafting partner, and you could probably get a slingshot forward pretty amicably. When you're looking at somebody like a Brian Holman, what we're noticing on his qualifying laps, he's taking those corners. Rather, you see it, he's inside on this one, but he's been taking a more aggressive outside stance on a lot of those corners.
Yeah.
See if he changes that going into the last part of qualifying and into the actual race.
Yeah, I will say that I did have a little bit of a hiccup on those speeds. By the way, what I was reading was kilometers per hour, not miles per hour. So apologies for everyone out there, as we're seeing on the straights, you'll get up to 125 miles per hour, not 200. Thank you to my math for that.
Change at the top. Andrew Payne's still your qualifying leader, but dropped to 32.06 as opposed to 32.08. So he bested his top at 32.08 just a little while ago. So he gets himself a little bit of breathing room at the top, going for this first pole, going for the pole position on the recruitment race. Felix Gratton has jumped into the 3 spot with qualifying. He goes into inside row 2. Tanner Tallarico outside row 2. Sean Ryan, Tim Rogers outside row 3 as of right now for qualifying. And the top qualifying spot and the 6th qualifying spot separated by 10/100ths of a second as it sits right now. That's a pretty decent range, and shows how close these racers really are.
Yeah, these guys are off just by absolute thousandths of a second at times. These guys are very fast, especially when you get those drafts. The draft partners can really help you in getting closer to that range as well. Your top speed by yourself may not be as close as you would like, but when you get those drafts and you learn to adjust to it, then it actually comes to you very quickly, and those times really improve.
Oh, speaking of improving times, Brett Haynes
my goodness,
drops to 32.02 on qualifying. He takes over the pole position at this point. And if you want to take a look at positions 4 and 5, Felix Gratton and Tanner Tallarico, they are in the thousandths of a second, differentiating them with a 32.11 qualifying time each. So that is fun to see. It's super, super close. We now have 35 qualifying times registered for this race, and we are getting this race started in about 5 minutes or so. As you see, the spin coming out, that was turn 3, I believe, that put the 2 cars out of commission, 1 in the lawn. Didn't see the numbers on that, but either way, That's a heck of a way to finish a qualifying lap.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he's got his time in. He's probably comfortable for where he may be sitting in terms of the standings. Currently P12 for Dusty Peeler as we're watching. He's going to be towards that front pack with the 41 cars that we do have on track today. So if he can maximize his time on the track and be able to avoid anything that comes his way, he'll be sitting pretty for the next 80 laps.
Be a fun one. You got just a little bit of time left in qualifying. You see the white 94 trying to hunt down the person in front of him. 94 belonging, if I can find it.
Yeah, they are. There's so many drivers. It's just there's somewhere in here. It is somewhere in here, but the 94 actually might be a custom number for somebody. So
looks like it, because there's not a 94 on the timing sheet. So
yeah, I don't think you have a 94 for anyone, but it looks like that the qualifying has finished. So
right.
We'll have to take a look at the grid once they line up.
Yeah, looks like it. Brent Hayne takes your pole position. Congrats to Brett on a 32.02. He'll be inside row 1 along with Andrew Payne outside row 1. And we'll get the rest of the grid here very shortly. But very good stuff on the qualifying. The top qualifying spots very, very close. Again, separated by very little all the way through. But the grid is just about on screen. We're about ready for green flag racing at Phoenix International Raceway. It is hot. The cars are hot. The engines are hot. The track is hot. Well, I can't speak about Drew, I definitely won't speak about me. We're not all that hot, but we are ready to go. We're ready to go.
I am heating up just thinking about what these drivers have to endure right now, but let's go through the grid.
Absolutely. Row 1, Brett Hayne, Andrew Payne. And row 2, Brian Holman, Felix Gratton on inside outside. Tanner Talarico, Sean Ryan, inside outside row 3. Tim Rogers, Cole Micret. That's inside outside row 4. Mark Buckner, Tyler Wilburn, inside outside row 5. Jesse English, or Just Staying Alive on the Discord, he is inside row 6. Dusty Peeler outside of him, and then Chase Lewis, Rich Hill in the 13th and 14th spot inside outside row 7. Among others. Do you notice any others at the bottom of that list as far as drivers from the previous season?
From the previous seasons, Andrew Hardcastle there in 17th place. He's going to be right next to Brian Voles in 18th place. Brian Voles, notably, last season in Week 10, had a great finish, almost came back to win the entire thing. Coy McGrath sitting in there at 21st place. He's going to be looking to have a comeback of his life probably as well. Brett Wolf in 26 from last season, as well as I don't think we have any others, actually. We don't have any others from the previous. Oh, we have Brandon Ward sitting in 37th, as he did not put in a time for this session. But I don't know about you, but I am excited to get this race started. I am just jumping over here.
42 cars on the grid. Some of them did not qualify. That is okay. They're starting at the back of the pack. We're about to get going with green flag racing at Phoenix International Raceway. It's the recruitment race, the preseason race for the Street Stock Series at Downshift Esports. And I believe we are just about underway.
We'll have a couple pace laps first.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Because the pace laps, yep, we'll have actually I think it's one pace lap because of the 1 mile oval, but we'll have to keep an eye out for some of these returning drivers. Andrew Hardcastle, Brian Voles, Cole Micret, Coy McGrath, and Sean Ryan all had an amazing finish last season on this track, and I think Brian Voles might have found something that went up his alley as he almost finished in P1 coming back into the field. So we'll have to see how he fares in this race today.
Going to be fun to see how aggressive these drivers want to be. In some certain areas of this track, you could probably go 4 wide pretty safely, or at least 3 wide pretty safely. 4 wide wouldn't be pushing it, but on some of those more narrow corners, and especially that front straightaway, man, there is not a lot of room to fit anything in, let alone a race car. This could be some paint trading kind of day. Pace cars off the track. We're ready to go. Green flag racing. We are underway. Lap number 1 is underway in Phoenix as the Downshift Esports recruitment race is a go. And immediately you see Andrew Payne on the outside trying to take the lead away from Brett Hayne. Brett Hayne holding him off for the moment, but for how long, as Andrew Payne seems to have a good run on the outside.
Yeah, he's got a great run on the outside, and the outside can really benefit you in terms of momentum exiting those corners. One thing that we did see on the broadcast reel, in the back as well, Jesse English got a little sideways into turn 2 on the exit, so he falls back a couple places.
Hayne may try to take the inside here, but it looks like Andrew Payne is going to have himself a car length lead on the rest of the pack. Looks like Hardcastle, you mentioned him. He's sticking and staying in 18th. He's trading with Riddle and company at the top 20. Lancaster, Davis, McGrath, 21 through 23 at the moment. They're trading a little bit back there, as Payne is actually fighting for the top spot with the 6-car Felix Gratton, who has taken over the lead for a short bit. We'll see if Payne can take it on this corner.
Yeah, and the inside is going to be so tricky for some of these guys, and there's a little bit of contact right there from Andrew Payne on Felix Gratton. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they fare. These guys can bump a little bit, but you don't want to try and turn the guy, or else bad things happen, especially for a 41-car field.
Yep, we got a 2-car lead at the moment. Does Gratton see if he can get some speed on this straightaway coming up front? Straightaway for lap number 4, just about to start, as Payne is going to be just behind him. Behind him is Brett Hayne in the 3-car, 32-14, best lap for Felix Gratton. That's the tops on the grid at, 32-13, Chase Lewis, as of right now, tops on the grid at the moment. Chase Lewis sitting in the 9 spot, sitting top 10.
And another thing, too, these guys are still side-by-side. Tanner Tallarico, and I think that's Tim Rogers in the 21, also getting up into Brian Holman in the 60 right there. So these guys are side-by-side all the way, but Tanner really making the most out of that inside line. He's moved up a couple places already, so he's looking to grab one more. And we do have a caution.
No, caution is out. We'll see where exactly that is and what happened, but these front pack cars seem to be in pretty good spots. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Maybe back of the pack?
I think it was somewhere back in the pack. We'll have to take a look at a replay really quick, though, just to see what might have happened.
That is the 70, is that 72 or 12?
72 of Timothy Miller Sr., and he goes sideways. It looks like he's having a little bit of connectivity issues as well, but going sideways straight into the wall might not be the best strategy, Curtis.
Yeah, that would be correct. 34 cars have completed a lap in the first 5, as we are in lap 6 under a yellow caution for a little while here. Top 6 places, Felix Gratton, Andrew Payne. They've been trading most of the race. Brett Hayne, as well as Tanner Tallarico, 3 and 4. Brian Holman, who has the, I believe it was the, he was in the 3 spot for qualifying. He is in 5th at the moment, and then Tim Rogers rounds out your top 6. It was Brett Hayne who ended up with a 32.02 qualifying lap. He has your pole position. He's dropped back 2 spots. Felix Gratton has jumped up 3 into the lead at the moment. Actually, even on the caution, they end up losing some spots.
Well, yeah, it seems like, Felix Gratton ends up in the pits. I think he was trying to fake people out, but I think he committed too late to trying to go back out and would have hit the wall, so he is now in the pits, but we've got a couple of others that are also in the pits, that of 60, the number 60 of Brian Holman and the number 9 of Sean Ryan. So early pit stops coming out early.
Aiden Haller is in the pits as well. He's in 32nd, so he's back in the very back of the pack at the moment. But that puts Andrew Payne back in front. Brett Hayne number 2, as those two have traded a couple times, but that puts that could play into strategy later, as we're about maybe an 11th of the way through this race, or 10th of the way through this race. Depending on how long it takes them to have to re-pit later on down the road, maybe get some distance between them and the rest of the pack as they have to go into pit.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the strategy would be, to be honest, if you're pitting this early. I mean, if you're thinking that a bunch of cautions are going to happen, and personally I would think that would be the case considering how many drivers are on track today, but if you're not thinking that caution's going to happen, I guess that would be the call there to go in that early. It's fairly early, 8 laps out of 80, and I think you're only going to be pitting maybe once or twice throughout this entire race, so maybe it's for new tires as well. I'm not quite sure, Curtis.
And 42 of that was Sparks. Michael Sparks getting into the 93 of Andrew Payne on the caution lap. Just giving a little love nudge, whatever the case is. Didn't seem like any harm, any foul there. Just something to note. These guys want to get green flag racing again, but it's going to be everybody tight up towards the front again, which could lead to some definite position changes. Also could lead to some issues depending on how aggressive people want to get. It could be a fun couple of laps coming out of caution, as it usually is, as long as they can keep it going. Pace car is off the track, and we are just about ready for green flag racing again. Caution is off, green flag is a-flying, and we are underway again with lap number 9 of 80. First turn coming in, see where the separation happens, and nothing tragic as of yet. 3 wide just in the back. Looks like the 3 car got a little bit slow, and he's going to take one in the back towards the outside wall, but it looks like he survived about it. We keep green flag.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That's the number 3 of Cole Micrit, and I think that's the number 10 right behind him of Brett Wolf. I'm not quite sure what might have happened to Cole. Maybe he missed a shift and just got way too slow there, but maybe we'll see something happening as we see the number 8 car yet again going into the pits as well, Curtis.
Yeah, Terry Kahn dropped a 32.13. That's your best lap on the track so far. Chase Lewis right with him with a 32.13.
Oh, there was some smoke somewhere.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. Depends on where it's at. But we are caution again on lap number 10. And looks like some lawn mowing happening on turn 4, or turn 3, should say, as we have a definite caution on the track and a couple of slow laps coming up, trying to get the track cleaned off.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what might have happened there. We'll take a look at the replay here shortly, but Noah Davis right there in the 43 car got backwards, and there's even more destruction up ahead as we see
96 and the 16.
Yeah, the 16 and the 17 of Daniel Anderson and Chuck Weir. Both of them getting into contact there. We'll have to take a look at what happened.
Yeah, it's that was a Brayson Riddle 96. I think he was involved, the Aqua car as well. At the very end of that, see where that came from. But a couple of caution flags early on as we see that one there. It was 48, right?
That was the 43
car.
Noah Davis, and I'm not quite sure. 42 of Michael Sparks gets in. So lots of stuff happening here, but this is, I believe this is Chuck Weir in the 16. Something happens up ahead, and just straight into the back of the 17. I'm not quite sure, but a lot of cars ended up getting into that one.
Yeah, well, you have a lot of traffic out on the track right now, no doubt about that. And that's going to mean some definite rubbing and racing. And there you see a back view off the spoiler of the 17 car who got it from the 16 pretty good. And that's why we are where we are with the caution flag. About a fifth of the way through things here at Phoenix International Raceway. If you guys are just joining us, Chris Curtis, Drew Akers on Downshift Esports, the preseason race to get us going. We start off the season for Street Stock Series in 1 week's time. That is September 14th at Charlotte. That'll be happening at the same 8 o'clock Eastern time as when the race starts. 7:40 for 8 o'clock for qualifying, 8:20 for race day or for race time. So this is definitely more. There are more cars on the track today than are signed up for the league, Drew. And you're going to direct the people on where they can go to get signed up for the league if they choose to do so.
Yep, and they can go to downshift.esports.com in order to see the website. And top right should have some social links that you should be able to find. The Discord being one of them. You can join the Discord and get some direction as to where you can sign up. But the sign-up links are there as well. You'll be greeted by a great community that would love to help you guys, so make sure to check that out. But lots of cars in the pits, Curtis. I'm not entirely sure what has happened to some of them, but not looking good for quite a few people.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they are able to get themselves fixed up and get themselves back on the track, I don't think it'll affect them too much. A lot of cars going into the pits, as you mentioned, so there's not a lot of position changes, I would imagine, through that, depending on your speed going in. So it'll be fun once we get back going again. Not quite ready to take the pace car off the track as we go into yet another lap, 14 of 80 on under yellow. We've had more caution laps, I think, than we've had green flag racing at this point.
That would be correct. Yeah.
That is probably to be expected with the amount of cars on the track today.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Felix Grattan, but the EOL penalty coming from race control for the number 87 contact under the yellow flag. That is not going to be Felix Grattan. That will be the number 87 of Dusty Peeler, so he gets an end-of-line penalty. But Felix Grattan here, not quite sure what happened, but he's just stopped on the track, and I'm not sure why.
Interesting area to be stopped at.
Very interesting to be stopped at, because that could get really dangerous if someone's trying to get to the pits or anything like that. That is off of turn 1, so quite not that, but needless to say, not welcome there.
That's all right. We are ready to go. Green flag, 3 wide on a couple of spots. We're going to go back full speed again, see how long we can keep it. Andrew Payne remains up front. Tanner Tallarico, Brett Hayne, your top 3. Mark Buckner, Tim Rogers, Chase Lewis, your top 6 so far as they shift back and forth. As it looks like Andrew Payne separating himself a little bit, has about a car length lead, and it looks like that is Tanner who's trying to take the inside route, but it looks like Payne's not going to let him, at least through turn 2.
Yeah, he's going to take the outside here, and again, we've said it before, the outside line could help you really well for momentum because you don't have to lift up as much, but even without getting the run here, he's able to get the draft and get some of that speed back on this straightaway here.
We were talking about it pre-race about the draft on this track. It's a hot asphalt right now. You only need about 2 to 3 car lengths behind your drafting partner to get some speed, get that slingshot forward. But if you are in front, it's like Payne was. Now he gives up what could be the lead to Tanner Tallarico. He does, as Tallarico takes the inside off the draft, as we were alluding to. And that's exactly what we were saying. Andrew Payne did not want to be too aggressive trying to keep that lead as he gets it back in the outside straightaway up front.
Yeah, that's a good move by Tanner, but like we said, Andrew Payne having that outside line will get that momentum, and it's very crucial as we have yet another caution, and we'll have to take a look at what might have happened there.
Yeah, something back, because it looks like everybody up front was pretty organized as far as keeping up the necessary speed and necessary angles to not hit each other. Somebody in the back messed up. It's going to be a matter of who. We'll find a replay here in just a moment.
Yeah, I think that was John Gahan. It's the number 32 right there. He gets sideways as he goes onto the apron. Yep. Yeah, that's not something you want to do in these cars, or any car rather, when you're on an oval, because the bankings, although very slight, you just don't want to go from a banking straight onto flat track like that. That's not something you want to see.
A bunch of cars going into the pits, including that of Andrew Payne. You see him in there, Tanner Tallarico in there as well. See where they end up all the way through. That's going to change the field up quite a bit. Felix Grattan has ended up back in the number 2 spot with this caution. Mark Buckner in the 1 spot. Mark has yet to pit, I believe, throughout this race. Andrew Hardcastle from last season, he's up 14 positions in the 3 spot off the pit. So we'll get to see some new faces up front. As a lot of cars, probably half the field or better, is in the pits right now for this 3rd caution.
And this is going to be exciting as well, because Brian Holman now coming out of the pits ahead of Brett Hahn and Andrew Payne and Tanner Tallarico, because it's really a question of, do you want to take 4 tires? Do you want to take 2 tires? Pit stop strategies like that are what is exciting about what race control has put in terms of the structure of this race. When you have pit stops, you need to hit your marks right on time. You can't lock up and miss your pit box, or else you might lose 1, 2, or now that we have a 41 car field today, even 5 spots could be lost in the pit lane.
Very, very likely. You're exactly right. Cars moving around the track, and to see if we can get this pace car off the next run through. About a quarter of the way through things in Phoenix. Downshift Esports with the preseason race just ahead of week 1 at Charlotte in 1 week's time. Another recruitment race coming up for the Formula V series in just 2 days. That happens on Thursday, same time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, on this very same channel you're watching on now, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We welcome you in. Hopefully you are having a wonderful Tuesday afternoon/evening, 5 o'clock Pacific time when we got underway, 8 o'clock Eastern, and you can do your time zone changes in the middle of that. But a good start for street stock, at least when we're green. We had a little more yellow than we might like to see. But we know these cars can fly, and a majority of them pretty responsible with the car in front of them to make sure they don't make contact. Just the back of the pack's been a bit of an issue so far.
Yeah, and sometimes it can get really tough when you're that close back there in terms of the pack, because it can really get squirrely as we've seen before. But another EOL penalty. That's the number 16 coming from race control, as they tell us there was contact or contact.
36, by the way.
The 36. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
36.
Yep. 36 for that. They will get a penalty or an EOL penalty, so they will be very last on this restart here.
Well, that is not how they want to spend.
Not at all.
The first couple of laps green after it, and taking a look and not seeing a 36, so maybe I was mistaken.
I think it was 16 of Chuck Weir, so he will be at the very back of the line.
Okay, so I may have just been.
It's all good. Okay. We're getting these numbers. Right. It's really confusing sometimes. They don't line up too much, but we'll have to see what happens on this restart here.
Yeah, let's take a look, and we'll do the top 6 again as the pace car comes off. Mark Buckner, Felix Gratton, your top 2.
Oh, what a great start.
Jostling for position, and yeah, absolutely, Buckner got some separation there. Gratton just behind him, but a very good green flag start for Mark Buckner as he puts himself 3 car lengths ahead of the 2 and 3 position. The 9 car of Sean Ryan is right back there as well, and an immediate caution just after green flag. Middle of the pack again, as we saw one go inside, one go outside, and that is not what you want to see going into turn 2.
And that's very unfortunate. That's the number 2 car of Coy McGrath, one of our returning drivers. He gets caught up in something where he goes sideways. We'll have to take a look at the replay here shortly when we get an idea of what has happened there.
More caution flags out. Some issues trying to get everybody going again. Pace cars out. We'll see how many decide to take a pit here, as we are still 22 of 80 on this hot asphalt. Let's see where this happened here. 3 wide on turn 2. Yep, and that'll do it. Inside, outside, then back inside, and that is going to create some problems.
Yeah,
for everybody in the middle.
Number 3 of Cole Micret, who was our champion, actually, of the Street Stock League last year, also gets caught up in that as well. So, unfortunate to say the least for some of these drivers getting into that. Like a cockpit view as well.
Mark Buckner, Chad Lancaster, Scott Canfield, and it looks like also Jeffrey Mathis and a couple of others are deciding to pit on this particular caution. Buckner, it's such a shame after the really good green flag start, had some good separation, and now all of a sudden he's in a tough spot where he's going to be middle of the pack or worse after the pit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if he's going to make that call, he's got to expect what's coming. So 23 out of 80 right now. We are practically a quarter of the way done with this race at this point. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but if he expects a lot of cautions to happen, this may be his only caution, or only pit stop, rather. So if he can make that work, cheers to him. But from here on out, you really have to get lucked out with all these cautions.
Yeah, see where everything ends up. That's where your pit crew comes into really good handy. The strategies, making sure you got enough fuel to get through these cautions, because going around even slow does take fuel. It does wear tires, and especially on this asphalt on this kind of day, it's a hot one, and it will definitely melt rubber. So we'll have some fun seeing where these strategies come to life, and where the winners are in the brain game as well as in the race game.
Absolutely, and I want to take a couple cool mentions here for Andrew Hardcastle up there in P2 in the number 20 car. He's moved up 15 places since the start of this race, has had a clean nose the entire time, and another one as well. Dean Scarito, someone we have not seen at all, has moved up 23 places in that number 38 car. So very, very good runs from them so far. If they can just go another 3/4 of this race being like that, they're in good shape.
And the 5 and 6 spots right now, Brian Holman, Tanner Tallarico in a good spot. They're back up towards the front, as well as Tim Rogers. Cole Micret, who had that issue on the caution before, he's back up front in the top 10 at the 8 spot. And so we'll see if he's able to keep that spot or if Brian Voles, who's been in and out of the middle of the pack, can get himself going. You see Brett Wolf, you mentioned him from last season. He's up towards the upper middle of the pack, 12 position, somewhere between 12 and 10 is where he's been staying for the majority of this caution. And Brett Hahn, sorry, our pole position guy, he is in 14th after a pit stop from previous. So this will be a fun restart, I think, because you got a lot of the top guys from previous, along with some of the new faces starting to interact, and we'll see how the cards shuffle after this green flag go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting, especially to see what Felix Gratton and Andrew Hardcastle can do as we go green here.
Yeah, here we go. Pace cars getting off the track.
Maybe not so.
I looked like it.
It definitely looked like it. It looked like they were even starting, but we did not catch the pace car, staying out for another delayed yellow lap. So we'll stay out for just one other lap. And I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor for the entire season, our partnership with Needham Designs. If you need a livery or paint for your car, check out Needham Designs. Chris Needham is a great artist and adept at making your vision come to life. Check out some of his work on his websites, Twitter, Instagram, and his newly created Discord. If you have a livery in mind that you want to make onto a paint, check out Needham Designs at needhamdesigns.uk.
Might have one more delayed yellow lap. Back of the field needs to be sorted before we can get going, so we may not see the pace car exit just yet.
I think, well, the lights are off on the pace car, so we might go green here, Curtis.
It could be then, if that's the case. See if he goes the inside or not. It looks like these cars are starting to speed up a little bit. We'll see if that is indeed the case. We'll know right now. It is indeed off. The pace car is off the track. We're about to go green again for lap 26 of 80. Felix Gratton and Andrew Hardcastle in the 1 and 2 spots. See if they can keep it, but we are underway for green flag. And Hardcastle on the outside, Felix Gratton on the inside. Gratton getting a little bit of a push, and Gratton takes the inside and the lead in the early going off this green flag restart. But they're threatening to go 3 wide up front, almost 4 wide, as things are really condensed up there.
Oh, yeah, and that's not a very good look for the number 9 car, Sean Ryan, who's looking to try and get down the inside of the number 60 right there of Brian Holman. That's dangerous, boys. Try not to go 3 wide or even 4 wide into those 3 and 4 turns. Those are the most dangerous corners, and yet another yellow flag. I don't think we're going to be able to get a good green run for a little bit, Curtis.
It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, it looks like it was, we saw Hardcastle out on the outside there, taking the outside corner. Gratton and Hardcastle were jostling for position. I want to see where this caution happened, but ultimately it was not up front. We came close on a couple of occasions as Holman almost got spun out. But
looking at Brandon Ward, his entire front bumper is off. I'm not sure if that's because of this caution or the last one, but I think Coy McGrath, the number 2 from last season as well, was also caught up in it. We'll have to get a replay here.
Yeah, it looks like we'll see very quickly how that one went, and yeah, that'll do it. Okay, and a couple of spins to boot, and a little bit of a spin cycle, and then a little bit of oncoming traffic, and a T-bone. So that will do it for that caution. That is going to get us with yellow flags all over the place, and another cleanup crew out there. And which car was that? That was
the number 18 of Jeffrey Mathis. He did not have a great time there as he got into the wall. He got mixed up with the number 34 of Terry Kahn. I'm not quite sure what might have happened in terms of maybe some communication errors there, but yeah, that wasn't necessarily a need to have happen, rather, in those words. But yeah, just slams the wall right there, and he might have a long repair time after that one.
Yeah, very well could be. Some notable racers that are down a lap or more at the moment. Jesse English, or Just Staying Alive, he's down a lap at the moment. We see Eric Vandit is going to be down a lap along with John Gahan, who's down 2. And so a couple in the blue on the timing sheet that they don't want to necessarily be in. A couple of pits as well. Sean Ryan, Terry Kahn, Aiden Haller, all in the pits, as well as Coy McGrath, who we mentioned previously. He's in the pit as well. And that puts you're still top 3. They've stayed the same. Gratton, Hardcastle, and Holman. None of those 3 have pitted. And Dean Scarito scoots back up into the top 6.
That's the thing, is some of these pit stops can really make or break your race. So it's gonna be quite fascinating to see how these pit stops, especially from Sean Ryan, who has put on a stellar race for the past season for us. He won quite a couple races last season, and he's he's good in terms of these tracks. He has proven himself time and time again. So for him to be on a different strategy, with Andrew Hardcastle being on an entirely different one, we'll have to see what happens when it comes to these guys. But Felix Gratton so far proving himself up in that top 3 spot.
He's been pretty close to the front the entire race. The only exception was when he pitted. So him, Brian Holman also up there. Tanner Tallarico's been lurking the entire time. And as well as a couple others. Andrew Payne back in the top 10 after a pit earlier. Brett Hahn also.
The 16 car on the apron right there, and almost got hit on the apron right there, so not necessarily the ideal place for anyone to try and get around him. But yeah, we'll have to see. But a couple notable drivers, actually, just to put them out there. To the Brandon Ward, number 39, he's been moved up 12 places. He's currently in 25th, although maybe a few laps down there. Some other ones, Daniel Anderson, the number 17, although beat up a little bit, has moved up 10 places as well. Scott Canfield moved up 16 places, up into 14th right there. And Brayson Riddle, number 96, still on the lead lap in P7.
And Hardcastle on caution has moved up in front of Felix Gratton as well. Interesting on that front. See if pace car exits here, or if we have another one to go.
I think we'll have a green lap here, as the pace car does not have any lights. Everyone's side by side.
And everybody's in grid form. We're ready to go again for lap 33 of 80, closing down halfway through this race. As we are up front again, Gratton, Holman, Hardcastle, your top 3.
Oh,
Rogers,
my
Tallarico,
goodness!
Scarrito, and already, immediately, we hadn't even hardly gotten past the green flag at the front. And immediately we have 9 cars in the fray to bring us to yet another caution.
Oh no, that is not the restart you want to see. That is probably one of the worst possible restarts that could probably happen right there. And that's just very unfortunate. A lot of cars brought into that, or got caught up in that crash right there. But Andrew Hardcastle, although maybe a little bumped and bruised, has stayed in P1. Brayson Riddle got up there, as well as Dean Scarrito. So they have come out virtually unscathed, as well as Brian Voles. Brian Voles in that Downshift Esports livery, sporting it today. He is he's up in P5, so he got out pretty clean as well.
Chuck Weir gives us some intel. He was the 16 car that was on the apron, blew the motor. That's why he was where he was on that previous caution.
Oh, man.
So he's back in the pits, and that's the reason why he's able to type into chat. We say hello to everybody on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Chris Curtis and Drew Akers with you. Downshift Esports, presented by Needham Designs, the Street Stock Series in the preseason race. Charlotte next week, 7 days from today. So mark your calendars for that. This is the recruitment race, so we do have racers in this race that are not a part of the organization just yet, as we see a replay that brought us in to this caution just off the restart.
Yeah, I want to see if I can get a good look as to what happened on the very start of that in the front of the field, because that is where it all originated. And off the restart as well, not typically somewhere you would see something happen so wrong as well.
Not ideal by any stretch for anybody that was involved in that particular come up. Dean Scarrito has jumped up into the number 1 spot coming into this restart. Actually, as I say that, Brayson Riddle and Dean are trading spots back and forth. Andrew Payne back up top 3. Brian Voles is top 4. Wilburn 5. Canfield 6. Brett Wolf is 7. Lancaster 8. We have currently, looks like 16 racers of the 41, or I'm sorry, of the 34 active racers on the lead lap at the moment. So that is not, they're about half the field, half the racing field is on the lead lap, which should be good, but as these other guys trying to get back on the lead. But with as many cautions as are happening, they may get the opportunity to do that, because eventually these lead guys are going to have to pit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did see a message from Race Control on the screen. The number 6 of Felix Grattan apparently took matters into his own hands and has been disqualified from the race for wrecking another car under caution. So he will
Oh,
no longer be in this race, and that's what happens when you get hot-headed a little bit. You don't, as much as maybe the 60 car on that restart did not necessarily have the greatest decisions to try and go 3 wide in that, you don't want to lose your cool and end up disqualified like that.
and that puts Brian Holman in the pits as well. He's now down a lap because of that little display. We have now 14 racers on the lead lap at the moment. Looks like Brett Hahn gets the courtesy restart on the lead lap, or at least he did. See where everybody ends up after everything is said and done, but not fantastic as far as the. Oh no, he's 3 down anyway. Okay, so there's a
Yeah.
bunch of people that are down a couple laps and due to any number of different things.
Absolutely. I think we have limited our field at this point to somewhere maybe around half from the 41 cars that we started with. I think we are now probably somewhere around 20 to 25 cars from what it seems like, as some people are still running in their damaged cars, hoping for some spots and maybe just a Hail Mary in terms of some other cautions and some other crashes. But as of right now, we have Dan Scarito, Brayson Riddle, and Andrew Payne coming off the restart in the top 3.
See where they go. Pace car is getting off the track. We're ready to go again as green flag is upon us. Riddle, Scarito, and Payne, as you mentioned, top 3. Vols, Wilburn, Canfield is your top 6 as we get things going once more. See how long 96 of Brayson Riddle can keep this lead up. He had a real good green flag start. It looks like a couple of car lengths in front of him, and he is off in a slingshot through turn 2.
Yeah, Brayson Riddle is off. As you can see, he is gone right now. And look at Dan Scarito having a battle on the inside from the 93 of Andrew Payne on the outside. Yep. Andrew will have that speed, though, on the outside.
Oh, Andrew Payne actually has a slingshot trying to get to the outside.
Oh, wow.
And he actually takes the inside. What an aggressive move, but it pays dividends. Andrew Payne takes back the lead from Brayson Riddle. What a bit of driving there from Andrew Payne. A little bit of side rubbing on 3rd place, and he is able to get himself moved forward at a pretty quick clip.
Yeah, I think he said, I don't want to be involved in any more cautions right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lead. And he made sure to make his mark as he slingshotted up 2 places, as you said before. What a great aggressive drive, and it paid off as he is now almost half a second in front of the 96 of Brayson Riddle.
About 3 car lengths ahead of Riddle. Riddle ahead by 3 car lengths of 3rd place Brian Vols, who moved into the 3 spot. Wilburn, Tallarico, Scarito round out your top 6 for the field at the moment. This has been the longest green flag we've had for a bit, so we've also limited our field as we have the top 13 in the lead on the lead lap at the moment. Brett Hahn is the only one down a lap at the time being. As we don't see another caution, he's going to be stuck back there for a while as they are trying to get themselves reacclimated to full speed racing.
Yeah, one note, Dan Scarito actually ends up in the pits. I'm not quite sure if maybe he miscalculated his fuel or anything, but he will have some some positions lost after going onto a green flag pit stop nonetheless.
Yeah, almost would have thought maybe wait for the next caution. It's
yeah.
almost inevitable at this point, but either way, the 10 car starts to get a little bit loose there, but able to hold it on. That was Brett Wolf, who had a little bit of an issue keeping it straight through that corner, but did indeed recover. So we'll see if he continues.
Absolutely, and you see that number 1 car of Jesse English. He's just waiting for his prey. It looks like he might be a little damaged as he overcorrects just a tad, as he may have gotten a little sideways there, but corrected it, saved his car, and he's looking to get back at it.
Payne still in the 1st spot. Riddle and Wilburn takes the 3rd spot from Vols. As we look back up at the top of the pack, as that you take a look at Riddle in the 2nd spot. Payne is way up there. He's ahead by quite a bit at that point.
He is 2 seconds off from what it seems, almost from Brayson Riddle. He is gone. He said, I don't want to be back there anymore, and his fresh tires might have helped just a little bit as well. Hopefully we can get some green flag runs going as we're a little bit over halfway done.
Halfway at the Phoenix As the oval, it's a bit tricky on the backside of
It
this
is.
oval. The front straightaway is nice, but the backside of this oval reminds me a little bit of Pocono, the way the angle goes, and just a lot of very interesting strategies going into those corners. Do you take them outside? Do you take them more inside? Do you cut some speed? It's interesting, especially when you're trying to battle traffic for prime positions in the field. As a couple of cars get loose, one into the grass, but it looks like everybody's staying green as that one nearly ended in disaster as we come along for lap number 46.
I think everyone should keep an eye on the number 9 and the number 44 back there. The number 9, Sean Ryan, and number 44 of Brian Voles. Those two went at it in a 3 or 5 lap shootout last season at the very end of the season, and it was very, very close, less than a tenth of a second. So look for a battle to brew between those two in the final laps.
Look for Brayson Riddle there. He just dropped 4 positions, and Andrew Payne takes a lead lap, first place pit stop. He is going into the pits. Not sure what is up there, but he is dropping positions faster than raindrops up to number 10. And Tallarico has taken over the first spot with Wilburn right with him, and Wilburn now takes the first spot.
Yeah, and look at this track as well as we get a caution. I'm not quite sure what might have happened, but everyone is now slowing up. You can see that the banking isn't a lot, but it's enough to where if you push it too hard on the exit, you're going to get sideways if you don't have a good grip on the car. You can see as the car is a little bit sideways, it's only helped by the fact that these cars are also offset. That front left tire is a little bit lower than all of the other tires on the back as well.
Caution, I believe it's our 7th caution of the day through 47 laps for the time being. Wilburn still in the first spot, but say about a full second ahead of second place there. Tallarico and Ryan, your top 3. Riddle, who dropped to as far back as 6, has worked his way back up into the top 4. He is your 3rd best mover and shaker from qualifying. Scott Canfield has moved up 23 positions from his qualifying spot. He leads in that particular category in the 7th hole.
Well, he's going to be glad that he's leading after something like this, where number 2 car of Coy McGrath gets sideways on turn 1, and I think that might have just been a result from previous damage. Number 8 as well over there. I think that was the number 8 of, I can't quite find his name, but he gets sideways as well. So he might lose a couple spots if that caution flag didn't come out as sooner rather than later.
8 of Aiden Haller is who you're talking about in the 2 spot right now. We have 9 racers in the pits at the moment, including the leader Tyler Wilburn and second place Tanner Tellerico, who was at least, as they work on getting themselves back out. That puts Sean Ryan in the lead for the first time, with Aiden Haller in the 2nd spot. Andrew Payne, the ever familiar red 93 car, is into that 3 spot. He's been top 3 most of the race. He continues it here.
Yeah, this is going to be quite a difficult restart for those that were just on the lead, or just leading and now coming into the pits, because you can see how big of a difference these guys have in between all these cars. We're seeing some of those lapped cars that are in between those guys now pitting, as we saw Brandon Ward pulling off there in the number 39. But even ahead of you right now, Aiden Haller has a lapped car, the number 71 of Brett Hahn, in front of him, and he's going to have to get around him very quickly, and it looks like he may do so here on the caution lap.
Yeah, we'll see if we get to lap number 50 under caution, or if they take us off before then. Looks like Andrew Payne and Tanner Tallarico. Yeah, he took up a late pit stops on that. Didn't quite get done what he wanted to get done, maybe talking about Payne, and he takes his 2nd pit stop as well as Tallarico of this caution. So interesting decision there as we remain under yellow for the back half of the 49th lap.
It's also probably not uncommon that some of these guys have also ended up speeding in the pits, or ended up maybe exiting the pits too quickly, something that they didn't get done, or any kind of penalty that iRacing may have given them. I don't think any of that may have happened, but with this kind of a race, you never know. These guys push too hard at times, so it's sad to see that those two, 25 and the 39, have gotten back there, or the 42 rather, not the 25, but have gone back into the pits, and now they are behind all those lapped cars yet again.
We're talking about Jesse English earlier. He's dropped back a couple more laps because of a caution pit stop. He's now 3 laps behind, but that's not even the worst of it. We see people that are 4, 5, 6 laps behind, including those that may not have made it all the way through. So still on lap 50 under caution, delayed caution here as I got to get the field sorted, and we will see how things shake out as the 42 starts to try to move ahead a little bit, but he's on the lapped car list as well, as that is Michael Sparks, who is currently 1 lap down, trying to get himself on the end of the lead lap if at all possible. He may be eligible for the safety net and may get back on the lead lap if things continue.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind as well for everyone out there, if you are the top lapped car, you will get your lap back via the lucky dog, and I think Race Control does a great job of getting those laps back to them.
And we are ready to go. Green flag is out again. We'll see where the restart
Great
goes.
jump.
Sean Ryan, Aiden Haller, and Sean Ryan absolutely took off of the green flag restart. Great start for him, and he's going to get himself about a full second of room between him and Andrew Hardcastle, who's in the 2-hole. Aiden Haller drops back to 3, Canfield 4, Wilburn 5, and Brian Voles in the 44 car rounds out your top 6. But that is a great start, as mentioned. Almost a full second ahead of second place is Sean Ryan.
Look at that gap that Sean Ryan has pulled off. Not even a lap into this restart. He has decimated that restart and left everyone in his smoke. What a well-done restart from the 9 car, but also Andrew Hardcastle getting around Aiden Haller as needed. And there goes the number 14 of Tyler Wilburn as well, taking a spot from Aiden Haller right there.
13 cars right now on the lead lap. That does thin out the field a little bit, but there are currently, as of right now, I believe it's 34 cars currently
3
going.
wide.
And we are indeed 3 wide. That's dangerous. Andrew Payne in that mix as well. That's 2, 3, and 4. Hardcastle, Wilburn, and Payne all together as Andrew Payne comes up, takes the 3 spot as he's going to be hunting down Andrew Hardcastle, who is about a full second ahead of him at this point.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Aiden Haller is just maybe lacking a little bit of speed from all the damage right there, but he goes into the grass, and 44 of Brian Voles is sideways, and we'll get a caution right there. I think they may have touched, and that may have caused a little bit of a spin.
But a contact at 130 miles an hour will absolutely do that. Voles goes into the wall. He will be the recipient of our 9th caution flag of the afternoon. And that is going to put us at another yellow speed couple of laps as we see who decides they want to pit at this point, as these cars having an issue keeping away from each other in the tight confines of Phoenix.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and take a couple of replays here just to see what may have happened. Brian Voles in front.
There's the contact.
Yep, right on the quarter panel right there, and he can't quite save it right there, so Aiden Haller, the results of that caution, but I think there was another caution, maybe just up ahead a tad bit. I'm not quite sure if anything may have happened.
It doesn't look. There it is.
There it is. A sideways as he goes to the high line. What a weird way to go sideways there. It's, the high line will usually give you a little bit more traction because of that banking, but I guess he was just able to find something in there that wasn't paved correctly, and we see a few more caution laps as Andrew Payne, Sean Ryan, Tanner Tallarico, and Scott Canfield are all in the pits. Yet again, the number 93 and the number 42.
Yeah, both of them seem to be living in the pits right at the moment. But 93, Andrew Payne, I believe this is his 4th pit stop already. And you mentioned the 14 of Tyler Wilburn on that turn. I think if he's going high there, you can definitely still spin regardless of the grip. If you end up too hard on the brake going into that turn, if Payne's a little bit aggressive on the inside there, he's going to cause the 14 of Tyler Wilburn to have to work the outside. If he's not comfortable doing so or wasn't anticipating that, was going too fast into that, that can absolutely cause a spin, which may have been what happened there.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Tyler Wilburn there, as it's just a lone spin. Nothing that resulted from it, but maybe Race Control might have something to say about that contact between Brian Voles and the other car there. So we'll have to see. But Aiden Haller as well in the pits.
Down to 25 laps left, still under caution as we get the teams that are in the pits going. Aiden Haller in the pits You see more racers that have taken taken off the lead lap. Brett Hahn, your latest, he's in the -1 spot. He is actually your top dog out of the off the lead lap, so he may get the lucky dog lap here and get back on the lead. That could be interesting, as Hahn was your pole position sitter at the start of this race. He really hasn't been a factor since probably lap 15 or 20 of this race so far.
Yeah, he's been falling just a little bit ever so slightly every lap, and it's sad as he was our pole sitter, and he's now fallen back just a little bit. There may even be just a little bit of damage in terms of the front bumper from some kind of contact, but right now he's not having the greatest of races, and I just feel for him, because sometimes there's nothing really you can do in some of these races that have so many people on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the pace car is getting rubbed on. Is that the 22?
That's 20 of Andrew Hardcastle right there. He's just rubbing up against it. Yeah. Yeah, that was a constant thing from one of our drivers last season, that of Jimmy Hayden, who would always ride in the pace car, acting as if he is there. I mean, he gets the chance sometimes, but maybe not so much when you're in a street stock car in a race right now. But notable names to say right now: Andrew Hardcastle, 16 places up; Chad Lancaster, who is 20 places up; Brett Wolf, even 23 places up; and Arthur Clements, 25 places up. That is a lot of places. And here we go, green again.
Yeah, here we go. Got some new names up front on this race. Green flag is go. 24 laps to go in Phoenix as we get it going again.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to get himself going, but there is 3 wide in a couple spots in a very, very tight spot. That is Tanner Tallarico, the 42.
Oh.
And, nearly a traffic jam as these guys remain green, but things getting a little bit chippy through turn 2.
I have to give credit to that number 38 of Dan Scarito right there. He saved that car like his life depended on it. It was a great save. And what a save there, as the number 93 of Andrew Payne gets into the 10 car of Brett Wolf. And number 9, Sean Ryan, goes spinning. Most definitely a caution flag here.
Yeah, I believe that was the 10 car. You mentioned Brett Wolf. He actually re-entered from the apron a little bit too aggressively for my liking, and that may have caused a domino effect behind him. But either way, bad news for the 10 car and everybody else behind him. You mentioned Dean Scarito. He did save it. He I think he avoided most of that mess, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
As he is able to get through it. He's still on the lead lap in the 7th spot.
Yeah, he is clean as a whistle right there. Way to keep it clean, Dean. But yeah, a great save earlier. So many cautions right now, and I guess these guys just can't seem to find the grip on this track right now. We did mention how hot the track is, but I didn't think it would come this far, I would think. But we'll have to take a look at the replay of what may have happened in the front there.
No, some wall contact on the outside there is what started that whole thing. That was when Scarito escaped. Then you see that is the 10 car, I believe, of Wolf getting down. Maybe, no, never mind. It was 93 Andrew Payne who got into him, but I think Wolf on the re-entry put Payne in a tough spot and got a bump on the outside, put Payne in the wall, and then there we go. Okay.
Yeah, and the number 30, the number 38 actually of Dean Scarito actually ended up getting a little, or getting Sean Ryan into a precarious position right there, as maybe he got into his quarter panel a little too much on that turn, but just a flurry of cars that followed and nowhere to go. Yeah,
nothing doing. A tough area to be in going through turn 2. That's one of the tighter spots on the track as you go along the back straightaway, but a hard send through the middle there. An immediate caution sent up, our 10th of the race, and it's been tough sledding to get up to speed for a couple laps and then have to stop and do it all over again. Restarts have been pretty exciting though, and there's been a lot of racers that have had really good starts on this track, getting off to green flag racing once more.
Absolutely. When we get green flags, we get great green flags, but these caution laps and the caution flags that have been results of some some maybe questionable decisions have, needless to say, not made anyone feel like they are doing too well on the track. I mean, those that are clean as a whistle and leading the pack, Andrew Hardcastle, Chad Lancaster, and Brian Voles, they've got to feel pretty good being in the top 3 spot, avoiding all those as we get to the last quarter of the race.
Yeah, exactly. 19 laps to go, 75% done here with the preseason race. Reminder, if you are out there racing and you want to be a part of Downshift Esports, you can do the following. Tell them, Mr. Akers.
You can go to downshiftesports.com, check out the socials in the top right of that web page, and most notably the Discord if you want to join us. The Discord has a great community of guys who want to help you and help you get into the league. We're a pretty good bunch of guys that just love racing, and you can join us there to try and get into this Street Stock League. Yet another recruitment race to go this week, if you want to tell them about that, Curtis.
Yes, Formula V getting going on Thursday, same place, same time, 8 Eastern was when qualifying starts, 8:20 about time for the race to get started. That's Formula V. They're moving a little bit quicker and have some right turns added on along with, if that's more your style. But definitely a good time with the Formula V guys and the Downshift guys in general. If you are a race fan, if you like iRacing, if you are enjoying the broadcast here, if you're even new to iRacing, there's a spot for you here with Downshift Esports. Very, very good race all told. Still entertaining even with the cautions. Would love to see more green flag, but definitely seen any number of names up towards the top of the grid in this race. Hardcastle is in the first spot. He's had a couple of laps in front. Lancaster behind him has not led at all yet, and neither has Brian Voles or Arthur Clements. They're your top 4 right now, as we have only 8 racers left on the lead lap at the moment. But it looks like Canfield, if he remains in his spot, he's in the pits right now, he may be your lucky dog getting out back on the lead lap in the 9th position.
Yeah, we do go back green, and we did see the number 51 get into the back of the number 10. I think number 10's just trying to get a handle out there, guys. Leave him alone. But as we go back green, it's a great start from Andrew Hardcastle yet again, as we see quite a few guys going 2 wide, hopefully not 3 wide into this 3 and 4 corner.
Oh, that's going to be tough if they do it. Tallarico right in the middle of that. And another caution as he's on the inside wall. No lawn to mow there. Re-entry back onto the track. That was dangerous, but yet another caution, our 11th of the day.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what may have happened there, but we'll take a quick replay, as I think we might have a good angle here to see what may have happened.
Oh, yeah, you called the thing, what's the 10 car?
The 10 car. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so 51 by himself ended up going off track. I'm not quite sure what may have happened ahead of him. Take a look here.
Bandit. A couple laps down there, and he puts himself into the wall.
Yep, that number 5 car as well ended up taking out a couple guys. Not quite sure what may have happened in terms of that, but yet another caution. You know, some of these guys are eager for some green laps, and I think so are we.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more than a few races, I'm sure, putting their hands up saying, okay, what now? As these guys have come through. We've had way more caution laps at this point than we have green flag, but it's, I guess it happens when you're moving to this kind of clip. 15 laps to go, and venture to say we may be looking at green-white checkered at the end of this to just actually decide a winner. But
yeah, and a thing about that as well, we will only have 2 green-white checkers at the end of the race if there does end up being a caution. So the first time, we'll try to get an ending to the race, but if not, we'll have to do a second time around, and whatever flag comes out on that second time ends it all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Inside the 63 car on the apron, it looks like. Or is that 63 or 62? Looked like 63.
I think it was a 63.
Okay.
A lot of cars coming into the pits at this point. I think Scott Canfield has been in the pits for quite a while. The 62 of Gavin Graham now in the pits, and Sean Ryan sitting in the pits for quite a while, needless to say.
Yeah, I think Sean might be done at this point. I could be wrong.
It's quite a long time. I don't think he's coming out anytime soon.
Yep, you got many people 4 laps down, 7 laps down, 10 laps down. So you got quite a bit of lap down cars. Arthur Clemens rounds out the last of the lead lap cars. He's in the 8th spot and currently holding on to that. Got a 33:13 best lap. Your best lap of the remaining lead lap cars at the moment belongs to Andrew Payne at 32:13. So he's okay. He's in the 5 spot at the moment. He's only lost 3 positions from his qualifying spot. But Dean Scarito, Brett Wolf plus 23 in their spots. And then Brandon Ward is in the rounds out the top 10, although he's down a few laps. He is up 27 positions from his starting spot. So we are now 13 laps to go. We'll probably see one more caution lap before we get going green again.
Yeah, this will be the end of caution as dignified by the pace car right there. No lights on that pace car right now, but to point out, Andrew Hardcastle has had a great race sitting up at the front. I don't think we've seen him pit for quite a few laps either, so he may be on a great strategy to finish out the race. Brian Voles sitting in that 2nd spot right there, looking to get redemption from last week during week 10. Brett Wolf sitting in P3. I think that might come as a surprise to quite a few people as he has now shined through this race today. So make sure to look out for those 3 battling it out. But Dan Scarito, Andrew Payne, Tanner Tallarico, Chan Lancaster, and Arthur Clements all sitting in the back waiting for their shot.
Your first 4 rows on this green flag restart are your lead lap cars. We're about to get underway again. Pace cars off the track. Green flag is out. We're ready to go once more. Hardcastle and Brian Voles trading back and forth, and Hardcastle has himself a heck of a start again. Off the green flag, takes the outside, then back in on turn 1.
Oh my goodness!
A field behind him and another caution coming out, I would assume. And it is. That was the 2 and 3 cars, I believe, as that sent a whirlwind of dominoes back behind them.
And that was probably the worst possible thing to do in terms of one of the drivers right there, making it 3 wide so tight into turn 1. And you see the number 10 of Brett Wolf now losing that right front tire. He might not be out back on the track for the rest of the race. But I gotta get used to this caster's curse thing, Curtis. I don't know if I can get rid of it anymore.
No, not at all. You've been fully initiated at this point. There's not a doubt about that. But we probably have room for 2 more if it indeed comes to that before we start doing green white checkered. But the 10 car actually it wasn't even the 10 car. Tallarico tried to make it 3 wide going into the middle there, and that caused some issues on his inside and his outside. And unfortunately, it looks like Brett Wolf paid the price for it.
I'll have to take a look at his cockpit view just to see what may have looked in his mirrors at least, to see what he was looking at. We'll have to see.
There's Tallarico there.
Yeah, there's Tallarico.
And that was Andrew Payne who got it on his inside, it looks like.
He saw a gap and went for it, but he squeezed everyone. It seems. And
yeah, well, that was the 38 car he hit, I believe, Dean Scarito on his outside that he actually tapped.
Andrew Payne on the inside looked to maybe have come up a little bit. I'm not quite sure. There's
been a couple of moments that Andrew Payne's come up with some pretty aggressive driving that I think has caused some issues from some cars on his outside. Him going inside of Tallarico there. I think actually Tallarico was in the wrong trying to make it 3 wide there. He needs to probably back off and let Andrew Payne on the inside. But then Andrew Payne coming inside may have actually put inadvertently Tallarico into Dean Scarito and caused the issue.
I would have to agree with you there, Curtis. And I think one of the things that Andrew Payne has kind of struggled with this entire race when we have seen him is the fact that he hasn't been able to keep his line on the bottom too well going into that turn 1 and turn 2, maybe even into the entry of turn 1 and 3, as we saw in that replay. He kind of went up just a little bit. If he held his line, maybe it would have been fine going 3 wide there, but even with 14 laps to go, 13 laps to go even, you don't want to make it 3 wide this early, as we have now hit 9 laps to go and still under caution yet.
Sean Ryan giving the pace car a good push around that corner. Not sure if you saw that or not.
Yeah,
Pace
I
car,
saw that.
I believe. Light's still on. Looks like it. I think we have one more yellow flag left to go. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think we do have yet another caution flag still, as the lights on the pace car are still there. But
Got it.
Sean just giving the pace car a little bit of a, hey, I'm here, go. He wants to get this thing going. He is one of the lapped cars. He wants his lap back, and he's going to get it right there. He gets to go past the pace car and to the end of the line. So he will get a lap back. I think he is still probably around 3 or 4 laps down at this point.
He's further back than that. He's sitting at 9 laps down.
Yep, he is well out of this race, but he wants something out of it if he can hold it. I think we do still have a couple other cars still on track that may have gotten too far down the order, but with this restart, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Andrew Hardcastle get out there so far yet again.
He's had some really good green flag restarts as we see the pace car just about to get off the track. We're ready to go again. Green flag racing just about to get underway as the pace car is just about down. We come around turn 4 and we're about ready again. Already Hardcastle getting out in front, and he's going to try to slingshot his way forward. Tallarico is just behind him, and we are underway once more. Andrew Payne on the outside, row 2. Hardcastle trying to keep the outside, but here comes Tallarico coming in to give him a run for his money on the inside, but good defensive strategy played by Hardcastle to keep him out there. Tallarico again in a spot where he can maybe take the inside coming into turn 3. And Tallarico is in a spot.
Goodness.
He can take a turn 4. Payne goes into Hardcastle and knocks him onto the outside wall. No caution as of yet. There it is. Finally, Tallarico has the first spot. Andrew Payne got into the back of Hardcastle and sent him on his way.
Yeah, and it's just a case of Andrew Payne getting out there, putting his nose. He did not have the wrong move there, I don't think, but I'm not quite sure what Andrew may have heard in terms of his spotter. I'm not sure if his spotter told him whether he was 2 wide, even 3 wide there, but ends up turning up into Andrew Payne there, and ends up sideways into the wall. That's not what you want to see.
Not at all. Tanner Tallarico in a spot where he benefits, though. He's in the first spot. Andrew Payne behind him. Look for Tallarico to try to get as much distance between him and Payne as possible. Where Payne goes, Payne usually follows the people in front of him. That's P-A-I-N, for those asking. And we have 5 cars left, 6 cars left on the lead lap. Hardcastle in the pits at the moment. He may end up losing time here. May end up on the back lap once more as he gets himself some damage control.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, that's Daniel Anderson on your screen. He went sideways, getting a little lower than Sean Ryan there into his front bumper. Goes sideways, collects the number 51 of Eric Vanden. So quite a few cars that ended up crashing here, and I think it's just a little bit of a unfortunate ending that we're going to be having here, as I think we might have our first green-white checkered coming to the green flag.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a natural green-red checkered. If we have three laps of caution, that is exactly what could happen. As we have some still in the pits trying to get set up for this. Tanner Tallarico, Andrew Payne, Brian Voles, Chad Lancaster, and Dean Scarito. As of right now, your top 5. They are the 5 of the 6 on the lead lap. Hardcastle's in the pits, and he is looking at possibly going down a lap here in the next 10 seconds or so. So we'll see if that becomes a thing. But Tallarico, like I said, definitely wants himself to get as much distance between him and second place as possible going into this green-wood checkered. 4 laps to go in Phoenix.
We'll have to see what these guys can do. I'm not sure if Andrew Payne being the cause of some of these cautions, I'm not sure if Race Control has anything up their sleeve, but he's had a good race regardless of all of those. He's been fighting up the field. He had a great battle in terms of a slingshot, as we saw earlier in the race, able to get up to P1 for the time being. Tanner Tallarico has also just managed to stay out of all these crashes and all these incidents that have come his way. But Dean Scarito also in P5 right now. He's going to be looking to try and battle his way back to the front within these last few laps. And Andrew Hardcastle got his bumper put back on. That's good to see from him, but his car may not be feeling as loose as he wants it to.
See where that goes. We're just about ready again. 3 laps left. We're going to get a look at a pace car and see if we have any lights on it. That'll give us an indication as to whether or not we can get it going.
Yeah, and I think Race Control has also given Andrew Hardcastle his place back, so he, being the last one on the lead lap, will take up that 3rd spot in the 3rd row. So a six car battle to end this race.
Good call. Good call. I think that's definitely a fair way to go. I don't think it was necessarily him.
I absolutely agree, and he is now going to have the chance to fight for his win that he's definitely deserved throughout this entire race. We'll see what he can do with the damaged car that he does have. So look for him to possibly come back in these last 2 laps.
Here we go. Restart coming. Pace car just about to get off the track here. We're ready to go again. Green flag restart. Tallarico up front. He's got Payne to his outside. Watch that battle going forward. Tallarico looking for a slingshot. He's got it. Good start. Payne going to think about going on the inside. Decides against it. And he'll give Tallarico a little bit of distance going into this first turn.
Brian Voles on the inside of Chad Lancaster. That's a good move from Brian, but he's going to lose the momentum out of turn 2 right there. He might have to battle yet again for that position in turn 3 as Chad gets into the wall just a tad bit, but Brian Voles still looking for that redemption from last season as we see Tanner Tallarico and Andrew Payne going across for the white flag.
Yeah, last lap, Tallarico has a chance on the inside. Tough turn on the outside. He had to get it back under control. Gets Payne stuck on the outside. Goes into turn 1 with the lead. Coming along the back straightaway here, going into turn number 3. Has a car length between him and Andrew Payne. Payne trying to go on the outside. He's going to try to graze the wall, maybe get a bump back towards the end. Tallarico not giving him the inch, and it's going to be Payne trying the inside apron. Not going to work. A little bit of a spin from Payne. Tallarico comes across, and he is going to win. This recruitment race, preseason race, is won by Tallarico as he takes out Andrew Payne. In the process, Tallarico gets the 1, Payne the 2, Lancaster 3, Voles 4, Scarito 5, and Andrew Hardcastle rounds out the top 6 after getting his lead lap back, and the rest of the field down laps or more. But Tanner Tallarico able to hold off a very aggressive Andrew Payne on the final lap.
Man, what a move that Andrew Payne, if he was able to pull it off, would have been, but he got a little sideways onto turn 3, and that's one of those turns that's infamous for losing it. So, unfortunate Andrew Payne couldn't pull it off, but Tanner Tallarico having the race of his career probably with this with this race here as he survives 80 laps of caution-stricken laps as well to pull out the win.
Yeah, probably a total of a quarter of the race was actually green flag. Caution lap and pit strategy were key along this entire thing. We've got more to come on our coverage from the preseason recruitment race. Tanner Tallarico wins at Phoenix. We'll be back after a short intermission. This is Downshift Esports. And with that, welcome back in, race fans, to Downshift Esports. Post-race festivities underway as the Phoenix International Raceway hosts the preseason race for the Street Stock Series with Downshift. Chris Curtis, Drew Akers along with you. Got a couple of the racers from the previous race in the room with us. Andrew Hardcastle, Brett Wolf, and Brian Voles are with us. I'm going to start with you, Andrew. Thanks for taking the time. You come out, you start that green-white checker to check the caution before the last green-white checker that we saw. The move that Payne tried to put on you, do you see it as a little bit too aggressive? Was there something you could have done, or was it something that he necessarily did that put you out of commission before that for that last caution?
I mean, it may have been a bit aggressive, but it just I see it as more as a racing deal. My spotter hadn't said anything, so I just didn't think it was there. I thought it was clear, and just was what it was. Did not realize my car was that dead after that wreck, though.
Oh man, yeah, I kind of figured you may have had some kind of spotter in your ear, but with it being so close and so quick as well, I wasn't quite sure. So confirmation on that for your spotter. You might need to do a better job. You might want to talk to him about that later on. But although that incident happened for you, though, you still pull off a 6th place in a 41 car field. How does that feel in general?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of new people, obviously, with this being just more or less a recruitment race, so it was pretty good. Racing around most of the people that we race on a weekly basis there towards the end, so not surprised there, but
yeah,
it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
for as many new people we had, it was fun.
Yeah.
Last question for you, Andrew. The restarts. You had a couple of restarts up on the lead lap, up in the lead spot, where you ended up getting some shots. It just ends up slingshotting yourself 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of everybody behind you before we had yet another caution come through. Was the track that forgiving in letting you guys get your speed that quickly, or was it just a good car in that particular asset? Your acceleration was off the charts.
I'd say it was more just playing the restarts. Just trying to mix it up every time I went into it. That way nobody had a clear set of when I was going to go. So it just kind of helped me out there.
Fair enough. Okay, let's move on. Brian Voles, I believe you are next up on my list. Brian, you ended up with a top 4 in a group of 41. You were in every part of the grid. How were you able to survive the roller coaster of emotions, being down a couple laps and coming back and being able to get yourself back up front?
Honestly, I have no idea. It was just
Fair
kind
enough.
of gambling and playing the right cards, I guess. There wasn't really much thought into it, honestly. I feel like I got kind of lucky.
Well, I mean, you definitely got lucky pulling off a top 4 spot for sure, but we kept mentioning as well how it was somewhat of a redemption race for you to try and get back into that winning spot, especially with what happened towards the end of last season in week 10, where you were so close to that win. Was that kind of fueling you for this race and maybe even helped a little bit?
Partially. That was definitely like something like, I really want this win. I want to get that, finally get one here. But just had so much damage by the end of it. It was just didn't have the speed those guys had.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all I've got for you, Brian. Appreciate it. And they did very good work on the top 4 finish. Brett Wolf, I want to bring you in real quick. We lost you, I believe it was probably 3rd to last caution or 2nd to last caution, if I'm not mistaken. But you got kind of buried in the outside the lead lap. What kind of happened? I know you had a couple of incidents throughout the day. Was it one particular set of drivers? Or did you have a good car? What did you get loose, or did other people get loose into you?
Well, I was running up a lot higher, just being able to read the situations a lot better than I guess some other drivers could, and just getting lucky, being able to part the Red Seas of people crashing around me, per se. And they just lost it behind me. Someone got hooked into my rear quarter panel, and front end just went to the wall, and that's all she wrote.
Fair enough.
Yeah, looking at that incident before, it was a 3-wide situation that kind of just ended up with you being hooked on the quarter panel. But before that, we were talking about, and apologies for cast cursing you this early, but you were doing a tremendous race. You had a fantastic one, pulling up into the top 10, even into the top 5 at some points. We were quite surprised to see just how well you were running in general. Was there anything that changed over the course of the off season that you prepared for, or was this just kind of a race where you were a bit more aware and were able to get through the carnage?
I definitely picked up how the car felt on this track a lot better over the course between practice and qualifying. You know, being able to drop my time about half a second and just being cautious towards the beginning, let the stupid sort itself out, and then just kind of like riding the wave to the front.
That's the way to put it right there, honestly.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, that being said, guys, thank you very much for the time. Good racing. We look forward to seeing what you guys can do in 1 week's time at Charlotte. Any of you have anything you want to say before we go into the first week? And I'll just kind of leave the floor open at that point. Nope. Okay. Very good. That being said,
Fair enough.
Andrew Hardcastle, Brian Voles, and Brett Wolf, everybody, thank you very much, guys, and enjoy your week off until Charlotte next week. Guys, thank you very much for joining us on Downshift Esports. Reminder, head over to downshift-esports.com and follow the socials, including into the Discord. Awesome community of racers, and a league to join in a couple of different formats. You have the Street Stock Series and also Formula V with that recruitment race coming up on Thursday. I'm going to bring it back to Andrew real quick to talk about the sponsor, and that would be Needham Designs.
Yeah, Needham Designs sponsoring us for the 2021 season. If you have a livery that you want to come to life, make sure to check out Needham Designs. Chris Needham is a great artist, adept at making your vision come to life. He's done some great paints over here at Downshift Esports, as we've seen on the broadcast so far with some of the Downshift Esports liveries he has created for us. Make sure to go check his stuff out at needhamdesigns.uk for more information.
Awesome. With that said, for Andrew and myself, Chris Curtis, I say goodbye and good night from Phoenix International Raceway. We'll see you Thursday for the recruitment race for Formula V. Again, this is Downshift Esports. Thank you very much and have a good night.